This is Sean with sixstringblues.com. I wanted to do a little bit of a channel update and about my website, sixstringblues.com, to let everyone know that I'll be doing a lot more videos in the upcoming weeks because I went through a period where I was feeling uninspired with some of my musical gear, so I traded some and sold some and bought some new stuff at the guitar store, and I wanted to do some upcoming videos on some of this new gear that I've been getting lately. Including bringing us to today's video, which is a product review of the new Fender Pawn Shop series of amplifiers. And this is the Fender Excelsior here, a great retro styling amp, and I've been having this amp for about a week now and I absolutely love it. I had the opportunity to play with some blues buddies, including two other guitar players and a harmonica player, bass, and drums, and this amp had no problems keeping up with the other guitar players' amps. Even though it's only about a 13-watt amp. Now to cover the features of this amp, it features two 6v6s in the power tube section, has two 12AX7 and a preamp tube section. As I mentioned, it is a 13-watt power output, has a 15-inch speaker, and has simple controls including a volume control and a tremolo control that you control the speed. It also features a brightness switch where you can turn it to bright or dark in order to control the brightness of the amp. It has inputs for guitar, microphone, and accordion, and it actually has different biasing and stuff, or whatever you want to call it, for each input. So plugging into each input gives a little bit of a different sound. For today's purpose, I'm plugged into the guitar input. This amp does not feature reverb, so I am using a Boss 63 Fender reverb pedal. I have the volume control set about 9 o'clock on a clock position, and we'll go ahead and take a listen how it sounds. Now today I am playing through my Gibson ES-333, which is a poor man's version of ES-335. It has a rear access panel. I have upgraded pickups on here, including the Gibson Classic 57 pickups, upgraded tone and volume controls, including a rewiring into the 50s configuration of wiring. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this amp and see how it sounds. Now this amp is capable of everything from clean sound all the way up to really nasally, nasty sounding distortion type stuff. So if whether you're playing jazz or like the clean sound of a blues amp, or else if you like the more distorted blues rock sounds, or even the great nasally sound of something like the Black Keys, this amp is totally capable of doing that. Now I don't play with a lot of pedals, but from what I've heard and read on this amp, it can handle pedals very easily and complement it very well. So let's go ahead and take a listen. I'll play with upcoming videos. I'll play with a couple of different guitars, including my Les Paul over here, and also I'll play it through a Strat so you can hear what that sounds like. Now after doing lots of YouTube videos, or watching a lot of YouTube videos on this amp, a lot of questions that I saw people ask is this a good amp for clean headroom, for playing jazz type stuff? And this amp is capable of that sound. Like I said, if you crank it up to about the 12 o'clock position, it starts to get a little bit growly. And I heard that if you replace the speaker, that will give a little bit less growlness to it. but I absolutely love that growlness of the amp, and love the way it sounds. And some things that I do if I want to get a little bit of a cleaner sound is at a louder volume is I will go ahead and turn that volume control on the amp up to about the 12 o'clock position, and I just roll back the volume control on my guitar a little bit to get a cleaner sound. So let's go ahead and take a listen to how it sounds. So as you can see, the amp is very responsive to how heavy you pick. I myself am a light picker, and I prefer that clean sound, so if I pick lightly, it's very nice and clean sounding, but if I pick a little bit harder, it gets that growliness to it. I'll play a little bit more here and let you hear how it sounds. I'm going to go ahead and crank the volume up to about the 12 o'clock position, which is about halfway on the amp. And once again, I do have the tone control set to the dark side, or the dark setting, because I do like a little bit of a warmer sounding amp. And a lot of the YouTube videos I watched with the switch turned to the bright setting, it was a little bit too bright for me. So here it is. Crank up the amp, it gets a little bit more nasally sounding. Some people would prefer to have a tone switch added to it, to the bright switch. Once again, it's a little bit too bright for me. I understand that Bill M Mods or Bill M Audio is working on a mod control for that bright switch where you can actually dial something in between instead of having all or nothing. And I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to all the way. It doesn't really increase the volume when you turn up the volume all the way, but it certainly gets more nasty. It's a little bit louder here. So it gets a little bit too nasally for me in that setting, but if you want to clean it up, like I said, all you have to do is turn the volume control down. It seems almost to me like when you turn up the volume control all the way, it really gets a great, almost like a fuzz sound distortion to it. And almost to me, it sounds like there's two different amps, like one that's a little bit fuzzy and the one that's not as fuzzy. I don't know if you heard that at the end, but when I hit the last chord, it really made it sound like there's two different amps going, which is sort of a cool effect, but not really a sound that I prefer to have. I cannot do a demo of this amp without demonstrating the great built-in tremolo. As soon as you turn it on, it has a click turn knob, so when you turn it on, it clicks. And basically, as you turn the dial clockwise, it basically controls the overall speed of the tremolo. So if you're playing stuff like Slim Harpo, this is a great sounding tremolo. So this is the Fender Excelsior Pawn Shop Series guitar amp. I'll do some future videos with some other guitars and also trying some of the other inputs. But I really wanted to get this video out there, so if you're considering buying an amp like this, I highly recommend it, whether you play jazz, blues, fuzz rock, or any type of music like that. Great amp, very quiet, so if you want to do some recording with it, it doesn't give a lot of hum or anything like that at a low volume. So it's great for doing some home recording also. So thanks for checking it out. Be sure to check out my website, sixstringblues.com, and also my YouTube channel, sixstringblues.com. And hopefully I'll get some more videos up in the future with some of the new gear that I have. Thank you for watching.